Before the first goal, before the first whistle, before the world even saw the players, they heard South Africa. A sound, loud, endless, alive. The sound of millions breathing together, the sound of vuvuzelas shaking entire cities, the sound of drums echoing through Johannesburg, the sound of Africa announcing itself to the world. The world had heard stories about Africa, but in 2010, Africa spoke for itself, not through headlines, not through stereotypes, not through someone else's lens, through music, through rhythm, through football, through the voices of millions. Football did not just arrive in South Africa. The world arrived in Africa, and nothing felt the same again. Because in South Africa, football is not only played, it is danced, it is sung, it is survived, it is remembered, and sometimes it heals a nation. South Africa moves to rhythm. In the streets of Soweto, football lives beside music, beside dance, beside struggle, beside hope. Children chase footballs through dusty roads. Music spills from open windows, yellow and green shirts hang from balconies, and everywhere there is movement. South Africa is not one story. It is many nations inside one heartbeat. Zulu, Xhosa, Sotho, Tswana, Venda, Tsonga, Afrikaans, Indian communities, colored communities, many cultures, one badge, one team, Bafanabafana, and perhaps that is Africa itself. Not one people, not one language, not one story, but hundreds of histories moving together, different rhythms, one continent, because football here became more than sport. It became identity. For decades, South Africa was divided. Apartheid separated people by race, separated neighborhoods, separated opportunity, separated dreams. Even football felt the weight of it. South Africa was banned from FIFA, cut off from the world. But football never disappeared. In the townships, the game survived anyway. On dirt fields, between broken buildings, inside crowded neighborhoods, across Africa. Football often arrived as a game, but it became something more. A gathering place, a language, a source of pride, a form of resistance. And in South Africa, it became hope. While politicians fought over power, the people kept playing, because the ball still rolled even in darkness. Then came freedom, and with freedom came football's greatest moment. In 1996, South Africa hosted the African Cup of Nations, and against all odds, they won. The streets exploded. Drums echoed through the night. Strangers danced together. For the first time in generations, many South Africans felt united, not by politics, not by fear, but by football. And one man understood its power more than anyone: Nelson Mandela. He knew sport could do something politics could not. It could make people feel like one nation. For 90 minutes, the divisions of the past felt smaller, the future felt closer, and the nation saw itself not as fragments, but as one people. For 90 minutes, South Africa became whole. Every great football nation has its heroes. South Africa is no different. Long before packed stadiums and World Cup spotlights, there were players carrying the dreams of millions. There was Dr. Khumalo, elegant, creative, fearless, a player who made football look like music. There was Lucas Radebe, a leader, a warrior, a defender respected around the world. In England, he became a legend. But at home, he became a symbol, proof that South African talent belonged on the biggest stages. Then came Benny McCarthy, one of Africa's greatest goal scorers, a striker who conquered Europe, winning trophies, breaking records, opening doors for the next generation, and there were many more. Mark Fish, Siphiwe Tshabalala, Stephen Pienaar, Itumeleng Khune. Names carried through stadium chants, names painted on bedroom walls, names that inspired children kicking footballs through dusty streets. These players carried more than footballs. They carried representation. They carried possibility. They carried the hopes of children who had never seen themselves on the world's biggest stages. Every goal delivered the same message. We belong here, because heroes do more than win matches. They make people believe. Then came a moment every South African remembers. June 11, 2010, the opening match of the World Cup, the first World Cup ever held in Africa. The eyes of the world were watching. Millions held their breath. Then it happened. A pass into space, a burst of speed, a swing of the left foot, and history. Siphiwe Tshabalala scored the first goal of the 2010 FIFA World Cup, a goal that exploded across continents, a goal that became a celebration of Africa itself. The stadium erupted. The vuvuzelas screamed. Fans danced. Commentators lost their voices. And for a moment, the entire continent felt unstoppable. South Africa would not advance beyond the group stage, but that goal became immortal, not because of what it won, but because of what it represented. For generations, Africa had been observed, studied, described, explained by others. But in that moment, Africa did not ask to be seen. It demanded to be felt, and the world listened. The story is still being written. A new generation now carries the badge. Players like Percy Tau, players like Teboho Mokoena, players who grew up watching 2010, players who remember Tshabalala's goal, players who heard the vuvuzelas, players who dreamed, and now they carry the hopes of a nation once again. The dream remains unchanged, to return to the World Cup, to inspire another generation, to make the world listen. One more time. The story is not over. It is only changing hands, from one generation to the next, from township fields to packed stadiums, from dreams to possibility. Because South Africa's football story was never only about football. It was about people, identity, resilience, and belief. South Africa gave the world more than a World Cup. It gave the world a different way of seeing Africa, not as a place defined by its challenges, but by its people, its creativity, its resilience, its joy, its dreams. The vuvuzelas have faded. The stadiums have emptied. The celebrations have passed. But the message remains. Africa was never waiting to be discovered. It was always here. The world simply needed to see it again, and perhaps that is the true story of South Africa's football soul.